The PGA Tour does take its talents down to PGA National this week for Happy Honda Days. It is the Honda Classic. Niemann plus 1,800 to go back to back. You chasing those odds or no? That was just a second professional win on the PGA Tour.
I mean, this field is weak. This is a lot weaker field than I thought we were going to get. I mean, we are the highest ranked player is Louis Oosthuizen, which is great. If you're me, I guess, we can celebrate that, but it doesn't really do much for the overall, appealability of this field. Niemann at plus 1,800, he's probably like the real high end young player quality guy you want to target in this field. I mean, we saw what he can do when the irons get hot, when he's accurate around the green. It is a lot to ask for a player to go back to back, but I mean, Scotty Scheffler last week, he was in the mix. I mean, Joaquin Niemann, I kind of expect him to be in the mix this week. Plus 1,800, I'm probably not going to go there, but maybe plus 200 for like a top 10 finish is something. I do think you want to get a piece of Joaquin Niemann, whether it's in DFS, betting, or what else. Right now, I'd be leaning towards more of just a top 10 play because I think Niemann is playing really well, and I think you're going to see at least some continuation. But realistically, like that plus 1,800 number, it doesn't look too bad, especially when you got guys like Sungjae at plus 1,000. Yeah,
those are the fourth best odds in this tournament this week, plus 1,800. And I'm glad you mentioned the field. Like, I used to work down there. That was this used to be one of the strongest fields on tour every season because these guys live like 20 minutes away. They're all like on Jupiter Island or down there in Palm Beach County. It is kind of sad. A lot of it was based off, is Tiger Woods going to play, which he's obviously not right now. But Matt Jones, he won this last year, Geoff. Some of the top players, like, we already mentioned it, taking the week off, not the strongest field in the world, but how much do you like his odds to repeat? Plus 5,000.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like his odds very much. Matt Jones was way bigger in the odds last year when he shipped this event. And, Jones is like a streaky player. I mean, he's good. Like, he's quality. He comes through. He's grabbed a couple PGA wins now, but relying on Matt Jones to like potentially repeat here, or just relying on Matt Jones like as a week-to-week thing is going to get you in a lot of trouble, especially at these prices. I mean, that's the thing. Matt Jones is 200 to 1. Sure, we'll take a shot on him if he's looking good. But he really hasn't looked that good on the West Coast. I mean, last year he was coming in off a top 10 at the Genesis. He hasn't done anything close to that. Maybe shown a couple decent rounds here, but again, it's just apples to oranges here. This isn't the same Matt Jones that was coming in last year that was starting to show some progressive form and kind of caught a weaker field off guard. This is just a sort of more of a journeyman player who's, going through a little bit of a funk right now, maybe hasn't hit top gear, and he's certainly got it in him to win more events. I mean, again, I'm not trying to talk down Matt Jones as a player, but it's a player you want to take shots with when he's triple digits, and he's not triple digits this week. And, there's just better players in this range that we're going to get to that are way better value this week. So Matt Jones is pretty much just a no-go for me. Again, nothing against Matt Jones, but we'll talk about him when he gets back to like the plus 150 range, which is, traditionally when he's paid off for people.
All right, just moments ago, you mentioned Sungjae being the favorite at plus 1,000. So you're going to chase him at these odds or just going to turn the page and pass?
I think you kind of just have to turn the page and pass. I mean, plus 1,000 for Sungjae, like it's, I guess when you look at it in terms of the strength of field, it's not that bad. You've got a defending champion. You've got a player who's really like looked good. I mean, he was top 10 at the Farmers, a really tough event. He's looked fine for the most part in a lot of his starts, but I mean, it just, again, much like Matt Jones, you don't really want to be betting Sungjae at plus 1,000. I mean, sure, when he pops up into the plus 2,500 or plus 4,000 range, yes, you should be getting on him. This is a player who's capable of beating more elite fields, and he's already grabbed 2 PGA wins. Obviously, defending champion here, but you have to think about what's going into these odds. Part of the reason why Sungjae is plus 1,000 and a couple of the other players who are actually ranked higher than him in the world golf rankings are like plus 1,800. It's Sungjae's a past champion, and yes, that's good course experience, but you're not getting any discounts on Sungjae M odds this week. I mean, plus 1,000 is a really steep price to play for a player who, comes close a lot, but just doesn't have like the win rate of like the Morikawas or the Justin Thomas yet. So Sungjae is just a player I'm pretty much just going to be out on at these odds. If he wins and kind of clears the board, that's fine. But I'm not going to miss it too much because these odds just aren't big enough to take a shot with him this week for me.
Yeah, he won this tournament back in 2020. That was like a week or two before the entire world shut down. And we were like, see you in 2 weeks. And now 2 years later, we're still in it. Brooks Koepka, he's a local guy who is deciding to play in this tournament. His odds still reflecting, though, his recent form, plus 2,200 to win. Chase or fade here, dude, because I believe you said like last week, when his odds are like this long, you tend to bet him, right?
I mean, I think this is a really good bet this week for Brooks. I didn't go so as far to back him last week, but I did suggest like if Brooks stays at these odds for too much longer, like you're going to want to start betting him in certain spots, and it's all about strength of field. Plus 2,200. It's shorter odds than we saw last week, and yes, he missed the cut again last week. But his record at the Genesis kind of stinks anyways. I mean, it's not like that's been a great stop for him, even though like it kind of should be. But the Honda is kind of a place where it has been kind of nice to Brooks. He's had some big rounds there. Again, he's a dude who's from Florida, so I think he just feels more comfortable at this. And it's not what you call a U.S. Open setting, but it's very tough scoring. And tough scoring venues is typically where Brooks Koepka has done his best. He's probably not really at home in like an event where you got to get to 25 under. But if the winning score is like -9 or even like -12, I mean, Brooks Koepka can pop up with those in those type of starts. And again, I mean, this is the player's one event removed, Emerson, from a T3 finish at the Phoenix. Yep. And I remind people, like, Bermuda Greens, there's more similarities with Phoenix and Honda than there is any of the other courses we've seen. So, yeah, plus 2,200 again. You've got guys like Fleetwood, Billy Horschel, Sanjay is like more than double the odds. Brooks Koepka is more than double the odds of Sanjay Im this week. I mean, I think that's kind of all you need to know as an advertisement for Brooks Koepka. I do like these plus 2,200 odds, and probably my favorite bet kind of in that top group of players.
Yeah, he and Berger, two guys who went to high school like within 20 minutes of this course. And both of them actually withdrew from this tournament last year because of injury, but they are the class this year. And yeah, Koepka, that final round out in Phoenix, I mean, if it wasn't for some bad driving, probably would have sealed the deal there, but it ended up leading to a miscut this past weekend in Riviera. Hey, let's go Tommy Fleetwood, dude. Plus 1,400. Second best odds to win. Am I missing something here? Dude doesn't even have a tour card, has never won on the PGA Tour. How are you feeling about these odds?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of like would have liked to bet Tommy Fleetwood this week. I mean, he's finished really well at this event. This has been an event where we've seen a lot of foreign players do well. I mean, Matt Jones last year, but we've seen a lot of English dudes pop up at this event. They all have homes close to here too, like you mentioned, and they like to come over here and kind of get their season started. And Fleetwood is a guy who's much like Brooks Koepka. He's just more at home in these tougher scoring venues where it's a little bit more of a U.S. Open style. But plus 1,400 for Tommy Fleetwood, man, in any PGA event. I think you're just sort of lighting good money after bad. I know that he's been okay, like overseas. His last start produced a T8. He had a T12 before that, but I really dislike backing guys who are just coming over from Europe for their first start, even experienced guys like Fleetwood. Like if it was plus 3,000, sure, absolutely. I'll take a shot with him because his odds are a little bit bigger probably than they should be. But at plus 1,400, we're getting the exact opposite story. And you're kind of seeing a theme here too. The players with good course history, You're not getting discounts on them this week. Fleetwood's got multiple top fives. Sanjay's a past champion, Matt Jones, we just talked about. He's probably like 100 to 1. All these guys with great course histories, past champs, guys who have top 5 recently, you're going to have to pay up for it. And I just don't have enough confidence in Tommy Fleetwood this week coming in off the European swing to bet him at plus 1,400. Yeah. I do like his chances, but again, you got to think in terms of, am I getting like the best number I should be here? And I don't think you are with Fleetwood.
No, and he had that T12 in Dubai, which is prone to win. And win can be an absolute you-know-what on the back 9 of at PGA National, especially the bear trap, that 15, 16, 17, like Wynn will just like swallow you up there. So maybe that just tends to be a strength of his.
He's a great links player too. I mean, I think you see a lot of links players do well at this event. Fleetwood is certainly one of them, but I mentioned guys like Paul Casey been in the mix here too. Rory is another guy who's had a lot of success at the Honda when he used to show up here. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely a little bit of a theme, but man, I just wish those odds were bigger because is he a player I'd like to bet this week, but.
All right, Louis Oosthuizen, we know you'll probably have a few bucks on him. Easy to like him in general, but really impossible to like him to win on American soil. Finally, though, quite possibly getting the respect he deserves, plus 1,600 odds to win it this week. Go ahead, tell me why he's going to make a run.
Look, Usti is, if anything, he's actually getting a little bit disrespected here because he is the top-ranked player in terms of the official world golf ranking. So if you're looking at these top 5 players, I mean, I think Berger at plus 1,800 is also like a bit of a crazy number just compared to Sanjay. But Berger is also dealing with some injury stuff, and he's looked kind of terrible like in his last kind of start, right? So Usti coming off a really solid T14, his first start of the year at Phoenix. I think there's a good argument to make, like, he, at least him and Fleetwood should be flipped in odds. I mean, he's played the Honda a couple times. Yeah, he doesn't have that top 5, but you're probably getting better value on him than, say, like a Billy Horschel or a Tommy Fleetwood this week. That doesn't mean I necessarily want to go out and gravitate towards him. I mean, this is only his second start of the year. I do think he's again trying to sort of propel himself into this big run that's coming up with the players, some match play, and then the Masters. So probably just another warm-up start for Usti. Top 20 odds, top 10. Yeah, absolutely. You could take a look there, but I wish he was at plus 2 or like plus 2,200 with like the Koepkas and Lowrys this week, because I think Usti is definitely going to pop up soon and make a run at an actual win. But I don't know, man. Like plus 1,600 might just not be enough this week. So yeah, I'll probably still have some money on him, like you mentioned, but not a player I'm going to recommend here. Unfortunately.
There it is. All that, and you're like, yeah,
I'll bet him. But
I'll probably sprinkle a little bit on him.
I'll force myself. It'll just be like, So, anyways.
Hey, Patrick Reed. He always has a shot to get hot, right? For a weekend, plus 6,000 odds. I don't know. Does that make you salivate at all?
I mean, it's like eventually Reed is going to turn things around. I mean, it just will happen. He'll gain 9 strokes putting. I don't know if he'll win, but he'll get in the mix, and everyone will be like, wow, why didn't I bet Patrick Reed at these odds? And I mean, in this type of field with seeing Patrick Reed at plus 6,000, it's pretty crazy, man. Like it's kind of jarring, to be honest, to see him down there. He has looked really poorly in just like all facets of his game. But, we are making a swing. Like, we're going from the West Coast to Florida. This is when guys can turn it around. I mean, we've seen players come in here off a couple missed cuts. Keith Mitchell did it a couple of years ago. 2 missed cuts. And he just shipped it and he won. And I mean, this one's wide open. It's a grinded out style of event. We've seen Patrick Reed win in Florida before at the Doral. Really tough conditions there. We know we're going to get tough conditions because it's always tough conditions at PGA Nationals. So I would not put it, I would not disparage anyone trying to bet Patrick Reed at this number this week. At the very least, he should be around plus 5,000 in my opinion, just because of his like career-long pedigree. Now, if you're asking me my favorite plays from this range, I mean, I like going down to Russell Knox, who is where is Russell Knox? I've lost Russell Knox, but I like Russell Knox this week. He's somewhere in the odds. Chris Kirk at plus 7,000 I like as well. Russell Knox is plus 6,500. Yep. He's actually bigger than Patrick Reed. I thought he was going to be shorter in odds than Reed, but Russell Knox at plus 6,500 I think is a great target. He's got a great record at this event. He's been gaining massive strokes on his approach. If he just has like a decent week around the greens, Russell Knox can certainly knock out a win here. And Chris Kirk, similar style of game. He's got a long history at the Honda. It's a good venue for Chris Kirk. He picked it up in his last start too. So 2 guys who played well in a couple starts to start the year, Chris Kirk and Russell Knox, plus 6,500 and plus 7. Those are the guys I really like in this range.